coin flip.
Well, you have to fucking do the intro first.
Well, no, this is going to go at the start, and then we'll do the intro. I'm
Oh,
going to
okay,
cut it up,
okay.
and it's going to look really
All right,
cool.
all right, all right.
All right, so we're going to flip a coin. What do you call it? You
Heads.
just get your choice of the pick
Okay.
if you win. So you call heads?
Yeah.
All right. It's heads. You have your choice?
Evens.
Fair enough. All right. It's been a long time. It's been over a year, I think. A lot of shit has gone down. Yeah, this is going to be a one-round mock. We've been really busy. Couldn't get as many guys as we got in last year, considering we both went over 130 last year.
No, I had a lot more shit to do this year.
Yeah, there's a lot more to do this year.
We both hit close to. I'll be done. I'll be at 50 like by the time the draft rolls around. I think you will too.
I'll be pretty easily at 50 by Thursday. Depends on how long all this editing takes, but it shouldn't take too long. It'll get done during public speaking. All right, the Titans at 1. I'm going to take Travis Hunter out of Colorado. This is really between, this is sort of what we would do mock. Probably just preface that right now.
Dude, you tried to talk me into taking Cam Moore. All right. No, I'll let him go.
Best player on the board for me is Travis Hunter. What position would I rather him play? I'd probably rather put him at receiver, although he is my wide receiver one and my cornerback one. So I couldn't believe if you told me that 2 years ago, I would have. I probably wouldn't have believed you, but super quick off the line, great release package. He's a gross route runner, makes catches in traffic, comes back to the ball. He's really elusive out in space. Just kind of what you want in a number one receiver. The only thing, he kind of lacks is a little bit of height, but, you're only asking for about maybe an inch or two more. He's 6'1". Great catch radius. He has springs in his knees. Like he just goes up and gets everything. Gets a lot of separation. Unreal ball skills. Great body control. Makes great adjustment catches. He sells fakes, and then he, of course, has unreal conditioning. He'll be out there. He wants to play both positions. And I probably for his rookie year, if I'm the Titans, I'm going to suck anyway. So I just honestly give him a shot at it. See what can happen. But yeah. That's his wide receiver notes. So now I got to go over to his corner notes.
That's such a wild sentence.
Which is just silly to say. Yeah, okay, so runs hip to hip, great in man coverage, great footwork. He's great in press, great in man. Great ball skills, he plays receiver, doesn't bite on fakes. He can tackle when he needs to. He's not going to go out of his way, but, if he's playing 120 snaps for me in the NFL, I'm really not going to bitch and moan if he doesn't try to, get involved on an inside run. He does have a hard time getting off blocks. I would say on the outside, just with bigger guys. That's really the only.
I think that's just an I play both.
Yeah, I'm not gonna knock him. Really, I'm not gonna knock him too much for it. But he can be physical when he wants to be. He can make open field tackles. He's like a shadow to the receiver. He didn't get thrown at like a whole lot, and when he did, it was PBU or it was an interception. He's a lockdown CB1, and he's a potential to be a top 5 receiver in the league. He's the best player in this draft. It's close with Abdul Carter.
I was gonna say,
but I'll take the guy that can play both positions, and if I'm the Titans, I am going to try him out at it. But yeah, Travis Hunter, the Titans.
All right, I thought that Joe was going to take Cam Ward. I thought maybe we'd be responsible and take a quarterback, but I do kind of view it in a similar way, just with a different player. I'm taking Abdul Carter from the edge from Penn State. He's my best player in the draft, so you get him at 2. That's a win. Obviously, it's incredibly close with him and Travis, and when you play 2 positions, that definitely helps. But Abdul Carter's insane. This guy's 6'3", 253. With him, I think it all starts with his quickness off the line. Like, this guy's burst is unbelievable. He's an insane athlete. Used to play linebacker off ball for a few years there at Penn State. The get off is the first thing you notice. Like I said, I think he's really good against the run, though. I think a lot of people are kind of underrating his run defense. Yeah, maybe he's not the strongest at the point of attack, but when you can backdoor blocks like he can, and you're really good with your hands, and you used to play linebacker, you have all those instincts. I think he's really good at just getting to the ball and getting the ball carrier down. I think he has enough strength to set a good edge. His swim move's sick. He's fast as hell. Like, he just looks like Micah Parsons to me, and I'm taking that at 2. They all, you say don't scout the helmet, but sometimes they look the same, man. And I think with him, it's just about developing more moves. Like, he's got to swim, he's got to spin. Like, he has everything that you need. I think he is good with his hands in terms of tearing and shedding blocks. You just need more because he's only played edge for a year full time. So of course he's not going to be all the way there, but when you look at him and you have a guy that's this good already right now, and then you go, holy shit, he's only played edge for a year, like, you think that ceiling is even higher than it already is. So I think Abdul Carter's unbelievable. Definitely Cam Ward's under consideration, but hard to pass up on a stud pass rusher like that.
Okay, at number 3, the New York Giants are going to take Cam Ward. They're going to get their quarterback. He has good mobility. He has good zip on the ball. He has more of a sidearm throwing style. He has pretty good arm strength. It's not the best that I've seen. I take a lot of guys in last year's draft over them. Moves well in the pocket. Makes throws on the run. Good deep accuracy. Throws over the middle, I noticed, were kind of consistently right behind the receiver, which isn't a big concern in college, but in the NFL, a second late is an interception. So just something to note there. He's a good scrambler. He can make those out of structure plays. He can make the throws under pressure. There are some obvious plays where he's playing hero ball and he's just chucking it. And there's one, I think it's literally the first play I watched from Cam Ward. He goes sidearm across the field, interception. But yeah, quick release. He has a confident play style, and he just misses some easy plays, like an easy check down or anything. I know we don't want like the check down ours, but when it's that or throw it crossbody playing hero ball, I'd probably rather you take the check down there. But Cam Ward overall is a good quarterback prospect. I really don't think this is a 2022 draft where there's no good quarterbacks in it, and we're really overrating the top guy, because I do think Cam Ward is a good quarterback prospect. The question is, where would he go last year? I don't know, really. I'd have to watch their film again. But
probably QB4
around I'd there.
Say. I think he's better than Bo Nix.
But you could say that for other guys like Shador and Dart. Those guys are definitely being pushed up in this year's draft. But Cam Ward, I think he's just a good quarterback, and I think the Giants, take a swing on him and hopefully develop him.
Pick 4, we got our New England Patriots on the clock, and I'm taking Josh Simmons, the tackle from Ohio State. I think he's my tackle 1. You hear a lot of Will Campbell. You hear the Kelvin Banks hype has died down a lot. I was definitely big on Banks for a lot of this process. I think he's awesome. We'll get to him probably in not too long. But Josh Simmons, to me, is kind of like the perfect tackle prospect that you look for, other than the injury. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to really buy too much into that. I don't know what's going on with his knee, but he did his pro day and everything seemed fine. Yeah, so for Josh Simmons, like, it all really starts with his pass protection. I think he has awesome feet. I think he's got a really good anchor. I think he's got good hand usage, that like consistently tight strike there. Just his pass sets are very consistent. Everything looks the same. He really doesn't have to go into his anchor too much, because a lot of guys will try and speed rush him and go speed to power, and they never really get there to the power because he washes them outside before that they can really transition rush. He's got 34-inch arms, which that's a big problem with a lot of these guys in the class, is they just don't have the length for it to really work.
Yeah.
He's very explosive out of his stance. I think he's a really good run blocker as well. Probably best in a zone scheme, but I think he is good at all the gap stuff too. And when you look at the Josh McDaniels offense, it's a lot of gap, but you do get some zone. So I think a healthy mix for Josh Simmons is a really good fit. The one thing with him is I'd like him to just put on a little bit more weight. He's only 311, but a lot of the times with those guys that are 310 in past mock drafts, like I've talked about them a lot, where the anchor sucks and they get bullied. But with Josh Simmons, he has all the bonuses of being super quick and explosive, but you don't actually get harmed with the anchor, with the size. So it's a very good combination for him. And I'm a big Josh Simmons guy. This is probably the highest that you're going to see him go anywhere. But I think he's really good, and we need a tackle badly. So that's my pick at 4.
Number 5, Jacksonville. This is where shit. I mean, shit's already
Shit just hit the fan when I
yeah.
took Josh
Now it's
Simmons. Well, actually, I think shit hit the fan at 1 when we didn't take Cam Ward.
well,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, yeah, shit's gonna hit the fan real quick. This is gonna be the most disgusting thing you're ever gonna see. At number 5 here, I'm gonna go with Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. Great power, great inside counter moves, creates constant pressure, great swim move.
To the Jags, by the way.
To the Jags, yes. Um, constantly gets after the QB. I do like his run defense. He has great pass rush moves. He keeps his feet going. He's got a high motor. He's always in on tackles. He'll be running across the field to go make a play. But 6'4", 296. I should probably mention now the weight with the defensive lineman, offensive lineman. But yeah, overall, I just love what I see with Walter Nolan. I know a lot of people, Mason Graham mocked here. Mason Graham might not get taken for a little bit for me, to be honest. I love Walter Nolan. I love everything that he does. And just I see a lot of potential with that interior pass rush moves and just getting after the quarterback, plus just a great run defender already. And, I think he can really be a top, interior pass rusher in the league within 2-3 years.
Yeah, you like that D line in Jacksonville, man. You got Walter Nolan. They got the LSU kid from last year, Mason Smith,
Yep.
who kind of a reach but developmental freak athlete. You got Trayvon Walker there, Josh Allen. That's a scary front, man. Especially when you look at some of the QBs in the AFC South. Yikes.
Yeah, who could have told you CJ Stroud might have not been? Who could have fucking told you that? Never wrong, just early.
That's right. Pick 6, we got the Raiders on the clock. This is not going to happen in real life. But hey, man, this is my rankings. You guys come here to see what we got to say. I'm taking Tyler Booker, the guard from Bama. Once again, highest you're ever going to see him go. But the slander with him's gotten too far, man. I see people say he's not a first-round pick. I see people say, he can't move. Yeah, is this guy, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to tell you guys that, Tyler Booker has elite movement skills. But when you play guard, you don't need elite movement skills, especially in this rate in a Pete Carroll offense. It's not like this team's going to be running a lot of zone. This is gap power all day. Tyler Booker's 6'5", 325. He's got 34.5-inch arms at guard. What that translates to is D tackles don't get their hands on him. He's always getting his hands on first. He's got super consistent footwork in his pass sets. Every rep looks the same. It's kind of like J.C. Latham last year, where you just look at the sets and everything's the same. It's always good. He's the best guard prospect that I've ever seen. We started doing this in 2020. Quentin Nelson wasn't drafted yet. He's the best one since Nelson, in my opinion. He's got elite level power. That punch just drops people as soon as he hits them. They're falling down. The amount of pancakes that this guy has on tape is utterly insane, to be honest with you. You see him readjust his hands throughout the rep, finishes his blocks, plays through the whistle. He's got good feet. I think he has an unbelievable anchor. I think he's got great strength. Everything that you look for at guard, Tyler Booker has. And when you put this guy in a gap scheme and you just let him maul people, I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl guard within a couple years. I think he has a lot of Tyler Smith in his game, and that would probably be my comp for him. Got the same first name too. But yeah, Tyler Booker's a dog. You're never going to see him go this high, but I think he's a great player, and I wish him the best because I'm hoping this will be a good take for me.
7, the New York Jets. You're going to take Tyler Warren here. I love Tyler Warren. I'm a big fan of him. He's a great blocker, good speed, used a lot in H-back formations. He just runs through people's faces in run blocking, just kind of reminiscent of what the Jets had going up against with Gronk. Although I don't think he's as good of a pass blocker, but he is good at it. Great hands, breaks tackles. He's a good route runner. Penn State had him punting. He's a fucking
Did he really?
Yeah, he punted.
I love the Wildcat QB stuff they do with him, but I didn't know about punting.
He can really do it all. He has really good late hands. I'm excited to see the way the Jets use him. Considering all the stuff they could do with him and Justin Fields in the back. I'm very excited if it happens to see that. And just help out that line a little bit. A lot of young guys, maybe put him on Olu side and Chip, help him out there. But yeah, I think he's a freak. I wouldn't put him on like the same level as Pitts or Bowers, but like he's definitely in that tier below them. Just kind of an overall blue chipper. Yeah, I love Tyler Warren. I love everything that he brings to the football field. Just speed, physicality, and he's gonna catch everything that goes to him. Yeah, Tyler Warren, 7 of the Jets.
Pick 8 Carolina Panthers on the clock. I was just telling Joe this. We're just kind of going through my. I don't know if they can really be my guys when it's like a top 10 pick. Like that feels kind of like a dumb sentence. But give me Jalen Walker from Georgia. This would have been my pick for the Pats if I didn't like Josh Simmons as much as I did, because I really do like Kelvin Banks, but I just was never. I wanted an edge because I didn't think that there was a tackle worth taking, but Josh Simmons is that guy, so there is. But back to Jalen Walker, 6'2", 245. Obviously, he's an LB edge hybrid. For me, like, I'm not putting him at linebacker very much, but you can still do it. Like, it's one of those things where you give him to the DC and you have him blitz from the linebacker spot, or you have him line up over the center. He's just kind of a defensive weapon that way. I think, you put him in a wide nine. You can do a lot of different shit with him because he played linebacker. He's awesome as a coverage dropper. He's about probably 80% of Abdul Carter. And I think Abdul Carter's unbelievable. So you tell me I get 80% of him with Jalen Walker, I'm all about that. I think he's a stud run defender on the edge, similar to Carter, with those linebacker instincts show up on tape. Like, this guy can stack and shed very well. He's low and he's built at 245. Like, yeah, he's a little small for an edge rusher, but there's pop in those hands. Um, Unbelievable QB spy, because the speed and juice is crazy. He can chase down plays left and right. I think he's got a swim similar to Abdul Carter, like with the Micah Parsons stuff, where like it's just a ghost move straight around the corner. That's probably Jalen Walker's best move. His get off's awesome. He's a great tackler. Like, the way that they talk about this guy's character too. Like, obviously we don't get to talk to them or anything, but apparently, like, it sounds like this guy could run for president and win. Like the way they talk about Jalen Walker, like coach's son as well, which you love that. And it sounds like this dude is just a really good football player who, Georgia, they got guys all over the field. Like, this is somebody who probably was his best fit, probably was as an edge rusher and played linebacker for multiple years because they had a loaded edge room. Like, that tells you what kind of teammate this guy is too. You trust him to get better. He's got really long arms. The run defense is awesome. I think it gives you a very high floor with the run defense, and then you got to work on some of the counter move stuff, similar to another edge rusher we'll talk about soon. For some of these guys, it's about developing counter moves, but Plan A is the ghost move, and Plan A works a pretty good amount of the time. And when you tackle like he does, that's good enough for a top 10 pick for me.
Okay, at number 9, I'm going to take Will Johnson out of Michigan, 6'2", 202. Flips his hips really well, aggressive, great speed. He's locked down in zone coverage. It fits a need. You guys lost Marshawn Lattimore this year. Traded him away to Washington. He was banged up a lot of this season. But if you're going off his 2023 tape, like if he just didn't play this year, he's a top 5 pick in my opinion. Runs hip to hip. Not a great tackler. There's a lot of shoulder tackles, which is my biggest pet peeve. Watching corner film, it just gets me. But he breaks on the ball. You can tell you watch his film, that USC pick 6. He just knew the play, and he jumped it, pick 6, took it to the house. Jumps routes. Ball gets rarely thrown his way. It's like corner and tackle. If they don't call your name out all game, you had a good game. Gets his hand on the ball almost every time he's targeted, though. Overall, he's just a good guy. Get on the board with this whole new regime that New Orleans has coming in, and definitely position a need for them. You got to cover Mike Evans. You got to, Jalen Coker when he's gonna be fucking elite.
Legend.
Chris Godwin. You got all these guys you got to guard. And Will Johnson is a great way to start off this new regime in New Orleans.
Pick 10, we got the Bears, and I'm taking Ashton Genty from Boise State. we all kind of know about him by now. Put up just absolutely ridiculous numbers for all of the college football season. Probably should have won the Heisman.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But yeah, he's 5'9", 215. He's an absolute workhorse. I mean, like the amount of carries and touches per game are some crazy numbers. He's got unreal contact balance. He's one of the best players in the draft. He's number 3 on my board. He's got great vision, really good power. He's very agile. He's a pretty solid pass catcher as well. Great stiff arm. Pretty good in pass pro, which you like just from somebody who's getting as many carries as him to really like take that area of the game seriously is kind of a nice bonus because that will get you on the field as a rookie. Obviously, he's going to be on it no matter what because this kid's disgusting, but makes 1 to 2 guys miss pretty much every time you're touching the ball. Obviously, you know, it probably won't be that in the NFL, but Ashton Genty's really, really good. It's a great scheme fit here in Chicago, and especially like Ben Johnson getting his new workhorse running back. And I liked Roschon Johnson a lot, so I think he can give you kind of a change up, like with some power. But Genty's your main man there, obviously.
At number 11, San Fran. I'm taking Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame, 6 foot 193.
You're just pretending that the 2024 season didn't happen with these last 2 picks. I like both of the players he took, by the way. I'm just saying.
He's going to be a top 15 player for me. I fell in love with him. Great man coverage, breaks on the ball extremely well, breaks up the passes, sinks hips. He's great in press, which I love to see. Runs hip to hip. He's really good footwork. He's a good tackler. Like, he's a good form tackler, which I do like to see. It shows up on film. You can definitely notice it when you watch corners back to back. You see one corner that doesn't tackle, and then you see one that does. It really does pop off the page. He feels the leverage of receiver, and he never gets beat by double moves. San Fran, you just lost Travarius Ward. This is definitely a need. You could go interior, defensive line, edge here, but I decided to change it up a little bit. But yeah, Morrison kind of gives you a premium position here. I really think I trust San Fran to make a pick in the 2nd and 3rd round and develop an edge guy. And I think they've been needing that really big outside corner for a while now.
They already have him. His name's Renardo Green.
I think that it's a position of need. And, you know, I know a lot of people aren't that high on him because of the injuries and stuff, but once again, the 2023 tape doesn't lie. I really like him a lot. And yeah, he's gonna be a top 15 player for me when I do my big board in a couple days.
12, we got the Cowboys on the clock, and I'm gonna take Derek Harmon from Oregon. I think he's the 6th player on my board. Derek Harmon's unbelievable. He's my DT1. If I had odds, he would have been the pick at 5. He's still on the board here. Joe just mentioned Jahad Campbell. He is an awesome fit here. I really like Campbell. I thought about him. Thought about Shamar Stewart as well. But, dude, I really liked Mazi Smith that year. It just hasn't worked. He's entering year 3, and he's probably a bust. And you got Osa in there as well, and like they're playing a 4-3. Mazi Smith's a nose tackle. They tried to make him had him lose a bunch of weight, make him a 3-tech, just hasn't worked. Then he put the weight back on to play nose, but they're in a 4-3, so you're not really playing a nose tackle very much. I think he's kind of just a bust, and it is what it is at this point, which sucks because I was a big fan of his. But Derek Harmon is awesome. He's 6'5", 311, big boy. He's got an absolutely sick bull rush. His swim move's unbelievable. Legitimately dominant tape. Like, I came in, everyone said, oh, late 1st rounder, like, he's a good player. I came in, I watched Mason Graham and him back to back, and I went, holy shit, Derek Harmon is much better. Why isn't he talked about like Mason Graham is? He's a 2-eye, he's a 3-tech. He's got great transition rushes. He's got one thing I think when you break down, especially D-tackle, that you want to see is you want to see a healthy mix of quick wins, transition rush wins, and then just like power rush, like late in the wrap hustle wins. And he's got all of that. He led the nation in pressures as the D-tackle and had, I believe, the highest pass rush win rate too. Very solid run defender. He's really good at the point of attack. There are flashes of a really good stack and shed player. I think sometimes he gets washed off the ball a little bit, but when you are an explosive 3-tech that's trying to play up the field. That does tend to happen. He's a matchup nightmare with the power and explosiveness. He's got great hand usage. He's always working his hands with swipes. I think he's an extremely polished pass rusher and a good run defender. I think Derek Harmon, honestly, for me, shouldn't even be here at 12. And the fact that he is, I'm taking him if there's any need at D tackle, which there is for Dallas.
All right, 13 for the Dolphins. I'm going to take Jahad Campbell, 6'3", 235 out of Bama. He's great in coverage. Linebacker, I should say, yeah.
Slash edge rusher if
you
want.
If you watch this, you should know.
Yeah, no, 100. We should say the position. But yeah, you're right.
Super athletic, creates a lot of good pressure. He just needs to be a more polished tackler. I have more consistent. I think it's just more polish is what I meant there. He's really good in run defense. Kind of just like a no notes. He's just a really good fucking player. Yeah. He can just play ball. Gives me kind of flashbacks of Devin Lloyd.
Kind of Devin White with some of the blitzing too.
Just gives me a lot of flashbacks to Devin Lloyd. I remember watching him at, where was he? Jesus, where did he play? Utah. Yeah, just blitzed a lot. Good in coverage, good pass defender. I just really like Jahad Campbell a lot. Just love the way he plays. Was a big part of that Bama defense. And why they were, even in the position that they were this year to be, I guess they went 9. What did they go, 9-3, something like that?
Yeah,
But yeah, the reason that they even, got to 9 wins, main reason. Jahad Campbell, really liked them. Yeah, I think, Miami that's a weak interior linebacker room, and you just get a lot of boom coming to that room. You just get a great out. You probably get the best player in your linebacker room with Jahad Campbell here. Interior linebacker room, no hate to Chubb and Robinson, but just get this defense.
My boy Jalen Phillips out of that. I know he can't stay on the field, but he is good.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles
again.
Yeah. But yeah, just get more guys that can play ball on that defense, and maybe the offense can get in better field position.
Maybe we'll get an O-lineman eventually in Miami.
Yeah.
Pick 14, we got the Colts on the clock, and I'm going to take Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. Maybe the most disrespected player. I don't think it's a maybe. I think he is the most disrespected player in the draft.
No.
I think it has to be him.
I can't think of the top of my head.
I genuinely can't think of a draft analyst that I've seen that's like, I like that guy. Like they all.
Yeah, everybody him, we watch really has been like Hitler. Like it's
terrible.
I watch Shamar Stewart, he jumps off the page. But yeah, I'll let you talk.
I think he like you said. I mean, that's a good segue. I think where it starts and ends for him is the athleticism. Like we're talking about a guy whose closest physical comparison is Myles Garrett. Does he rush the passer like Myles Garrett? No.
Side note,
absolutely not.
Most of these analysts who hate Shamar Stewart love Mykel Williams.
I like both of them, actually. So.
You like Shamar a lot more.
A good bit more.
And the difference between what they say about Shamar and what they say about Mykel is great. Because they use Mykel's athleticism as like, oh my god, this is why you should take him top.
Shamar's
10.
also like a much better athlete.
And then they're like, yeah, Shamar's athletic, but it's
so
hypocritical, I'll say.
I agree. But yeah, I mean with Shamar, like it all starts obviously with the juice and explosiveness. And then you go with the power. You want to talk about speed to power? Brother, let me tell you, when you talk about just length, heavy hands, great power, he's legitimately an unbelievable run defender. I think he's the best run defending edge in the class, probably. I don't really think it's close, especially when you're 6'6", anywhere from 280 to 290. I know he slimmed down for the Senior Bowl, but I like him. Yeah. I like him as that. I think he can play 4-3 end. Suddenly, this becomes a very sweet duo with him and Latu. I think they complement each other very well. And then that makes Kwity Paye more of a rotational player, which is probably his best fit. But Shamar's got very stout at the point of attack. Like I said, great run defender. I think he does a great job tearing and finding the ball. Elite explosiveness off the ball, especially when you throw in his size. Elite bull rush. Legit will chase down screens. The reason why it gets frustrating with talking about him is, yes, he needs more counter moves. Yes, he needs more of a pass rush plan. Unbelievable run defender. The hustle and the effort of getting to the ball is unbelievable. I think there's flashes of an outside rip and more of a speed rush. But if you're telling me I get a sick run defender and just an absolute weapon on stunts immediately, and we can teach him more of the pass rush stuff, I feel pretty good about that, especially at this 14 range versus, top 5. Like, I think he's 9 on my board, so like I'd look at him at 8 and 9. But if Jalen Walker is on the board, I will take Jalen Walker. But I'm a big fan of Shamar Stewart. I think the hate has gone way too far, especially like what Joe said when Michael Williams is kind of getting propped up. But yeah, he's a really good player.
At 15, the Atlanta Falcons, it was either Mike Green or Shamar Stewart, whichever one.
Yeah.
It was going here. Mike Green out of Marshall, edge rusher, 6'4", 248. Smaller size, but really, I think it's fine. I think Will Anderson was like 252 when he got drafted, something around that. Nuts speed, deadly swim move, great dip under, great pursuit of the ball, fights off his blocker to get to the ball. Great block shedding, amazing tackler. He fucking flies around the field. Really good run defender. I love his run defense. I don't think that's talked about enough. For his size, as good as a run defender that he is kind of an anomaly. Shout out Jason Tatum. But
Celtics game 1 dub the other day. Let's go.
But he beats tackles around the edge like consistently with like just nuts speed. He's relentless, gets constant pressure. I love Mike Green so much. There's listen, smaller school, I get it. He had 17 and a half sacks, so he dominated. That's the rule of if you played a small school.
Well, he dominated against Ohio State,
yeah.
too. Like,
yeah. It was like, another guy just jumps off the page. Like, it's just, he's right there. Love Mike Green. At one point at the Patriots, I was like, when I first watched Mike Green, I'm like, 4 maybe for me. But yeah, just Atlanta. Will they go pass rusher? Probably not. They seem to not want to ever.
Him being what is he, the 4th edge rusher off the board here? 3rd?
Abdul,
Shamar, Walker. Yeah. Him being 4th is low, but that's just how good this edge class is.
I mean, I love Mike Green. He's one of like my favorite guys in this draft. Atlanta needs an edge rusher.
16, we got the Cardinals on the clock. And this is the range that I think, maybe you are too, but this is where I'm very comfortable with Mason Graham.
Yep.
So I'm going to take him here at 16. I don't see top 5 with him, but if you're telling me I get him at 16, then all of a sudden I really do like that. Because at that point, like they signed Dalvin Tomlinson to be your nose. You got Darius Robinson from last year who played well in his like 2 games, but was hurt most of the year. And then you got Mason Graham as your other 3-4, or Calais Campbell and Mason Graham as your other. Calais Campbell for a year doesn't stop me from drafting Mason Graham here. And then I was thinking about James Pierce Jr., I was telling Joe, but you got Ojulari, they signed Josh Sweat, and then you got Baron Browning and Zaven Collins in that edge room. So they're honestly pretty good at edge. So I think you got to address your interior here. Mason Graham, I think he's an extremely sound run defender. He sees through his gap routinely. He's got great knockback in his hands. He's got good hand usage. The thing about Mason Graham, man, is he either wins quick or he doesn't win at all. Like, you're either shedding that block instantly and we're in the backfield. There's no transition rush wins. There's no, like, bull rush, I'm working my hands late in the rep and I'm winning. Like, he gets doubled, nothing happens. The rep kind of just ends. Like, he'll occupy his gap. He'll do his job. He's an extremely fundamentally sound player, but he doesn't have the athleticism of Derek Harmon and Walter Nolan in terms of the juice of pass rush. There are a lot of nothing reps. Like, doesn't compress the pocket. Nothing really happens. He's just chilling in his gap. He's not as electric of a pass rusher as a top 10 pick would be. He executes his stunts well. He's a very, very good player, but good players with limited pass rush upside don't go in the top 5. And I think that this is more his range. Walter Nolan is somebody who has juice, and same thing with Derek Harmon. And I just don't see that with Mason Graham. But that doesn't mean Mason Graham isn't a really good player. And to get drafted at 16, you got to be fucking good, and he is. But I think this is a much more appropriate range.
Okay, at 17 for the Bengals, you need one of the interiors or edge, really, just the line. You could just, stick it there. But I'm taking Armand Membu here, 6'4", 332. He's been getting, I feel like, unfair, like, oh, can he really play, tackle, left tackle, let's move him into guard. Here, it doesn't matter where the fuck he plays because it'll be an immediate upgrade. Super athletic,
Yeah,
great.
starting at guard probably.
Yeah. He'll probably start more at guard first year. Super athletic, really good down blocker, great run blocker, good punch, opens up holes in the run, flushes guys to the outside, gets to the second level. Dylan Stewart is this man's bitch in the run game. He fucking owned him multiple times. Really good aim.
The freshman alone, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, Dylan Stewart owns Will Campbell.
Yeah.
So there's some...
dude, he's really good in run blocking. Obviously, he has a good anchor, so the pass blocking is there, but I more saw him as a really good run blocker. And for the interior, it's fine. But yeah, I think he can play left tackle. I really do. His run blocking gave me flashbacks of Talisi Fuaga last year. Not quite that, because Talisi Fuaga was fucking unbelievable, but he's really good at it. But that's the closest comparison I can make. But yeah, overall, I think if Membu's on the board here, they run it up to the they go in and run it up to the podium, and you're really happy. Just protect Joe Burrow. He needs to stay healthy. You see what happens when he can stay healthy. He probably had the best stats of any quarterback last year. Yeah, you put, this could be an edge rusher too if you want to take James Pierce, Kenneth Grant. I wouldn't really take this high, but one of those guys, you want to take those so they stop scoring 45 points. I'm not going to fucking argue with you. But yeah, I think just keep Joe Burrow healthy and then really try to build that defense up through the draft. And yeah, this will be good. But yeah, Membu here I think just makes a lot of sense.
Week 18, we got the Seahawks on the clock, and I think Seahawks fans would shoot me if I didn't pick an interior lineman. And I do agree with them on it. It's just, for me, like guard one, Tyler Booker's gone. The best lineman remaining for me is Kelvin Banks, and that's who I'm going with. Will Campbell will go pretty soon here, probably. Yeah. I do like Will Campbell at guard, just not at tackle. But I actually like Banks as a tackle. I think he really can play left tackle, but it is one of those things where they need a guard. But I do like Banks a lot in this fit because Abraham Lucas is somebody who has not been able to stay healthy whatsoever over at right tackle. So I do think there's a good chance that it might be week 5 and Kelvin Banks might be playing right tackle for you. But as far as his build, he's 6'4", 324, which is a great guard profile, but he does have 33.5-inch arms even with that. From Texas, I think he's very patient in his pass sets and has a consistent kick slide. He's at his best on the move, just on screens, wide zone, backside cutoffs, and that fits pretty well into this Seattle offense, which is good. His problem in pass pro is he's a little bit of a lunger. Sometimes he'll pay for it. I think he's really smart against stunts, which translates to guard well just because stuff happens faster on the inside. I think he's got good feet. Where he runs into trouble is I feel like late into the rep, he doesn't... I talked about it with Josh Simmons and Tyler Booker readjusting their hands. Sometimes with Kelvin Banks, he won't really be readjusting too much, and he'll lose the corner late into the rep. That won't apply as much as at guard, which will be... because you're just not kick sliding as far. So I think that'll help him out there. I saw a couple bad anchors on tape as well, but it is pretty sound for the most part. Sometimes he'll just whiff in run blocking, like with the lunging. I think he just needs to kind of stay on his feet a little bit more with some of those plays. The Georgia game, man. A lot of people will tell you that he got cooked, but Quinn Ewers' pocket presence is what really got him fucked over. I liked what Mykel Williams did on a lot of those reps, but, when your quarterback is running into literally where you're blocking the guy into, it's pretty tough to hold up there. So I like Kelvin Banks a lot. Ideally, he'd play tackle. I think he still might, just because of the Abe Lucas's health over there. But I think you could lock him in at left guard. And maybe Christian Haynes can step up for them at right guard, who was a guy we liked a lot last year.
Pretty sure he won the first. He won 21 of the Dolphins, if I remember.
For us, yeah, he was an awesome player from UConn. So hopefully they can kind of lock those guys in as their guard duo and look pretty good here and maybe attack center in the second round.
Okay, here at 19, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm going to take Jahdae Barron out of Texas. 5'11", 200 pounds. He's just a DB. You could ask him really to play anywhere, and I'd be okay with it. Good tackler. He's great in man coverage. He's played the outside nickel, and he's played in the box. He's got really good ball skills. Good athlete. Gets his hand on the ball. I really like him a lot. He gives me a lot of... He's like kind of like... Fuck, who am I trying to think of? Brian Branch, almost. He gives me a little bit... Brian Branch, McDuffie, those kind of like nickel, but can really play. Jack of all trades, can play really anywhere. Liked him. He, was one of the bright spots in that Georgia game where they were just getting, ragdolled, but I'm pretty sure he came up with 1 or 2 picks.
Yeah, I think he had 2 against Georgia.
And I think he would have had 3, but he got called back on some, offensive pass interference bullshit.
One of them was sick as fuck. He tipped it up, to himself.
Yeah, he's got great ball skills. He was a really good player, and one of the reasons Texas made it as far as they did. But really, I think you could plug him in maybe on, any team, and he'd be a starter immediately. Even just because he has so many... what's the word I'm looking for? He can just play so many positions, whether that's outside, whether that's nickel, or just want to send him on a blitz in the box. He can do that too. Tampa, you're kind of in a good position here. You don't really need a lot of offense. If Jahad Campbell was here, I'm running it up.
Yeah.
But he's not. I think you just go defensive side of the ball. I think Jahdae Barron's one of the best guys that's on the board right now.
20, Denver Broncos on the clock. This is a pick that's been made probably 38,000 times, but I think it's a perfect fit, and I think it honestly is what is going to happen on draft night, and that's Marion Hampton to the Broncos. 6 foot, 220, big back. The first play I saw of him was him getting cooked on an inside rip in pass pro, which tough. You hate to see it, but he's legitimately a very good pass protector. That's one of the things I like the most about him. With him, I think it starts with his leg drive and his contact balance. You watch this dude just fall forward over and over again. He always, like I said, he always seems to find some kind of yardage. He's a very capable receiver. I love his downhill mentality. He's really just a one cut and get up the field guy. His patience is very interesting with it, though. I watched him, and I think there's some shades of Le'Veon Bell in there. Yep. In terms of the patience and just the kind of waiting behind the line of scrimmage. And then he sees the hole, he hits it. Because, the way he runs, he's moving slow as shit at the line of scrimmage. Because he's just sitting there reading it. And then once he gets past 6 yards, you go, holy shit, this guy's fast. The breakaway runs, once he it's kind of like Derrick Henry, where it just takes him a little bit to build up speed, but once you see it, you're he's fucking gone. You're not catching him again. But yeah, I think he's best in a gap scheme. I think he could probably run some zone as well, but if you just kind of want to go gap with a Sean Payton offense and just kind of have him chew out yardage and keep you on schedule, I think that would be his best role. And I think he's a really good player. I love the no-nonsense running style that he has. He kind of feels like a more explosive Najee, is kind of what I see with it, who's very patient. I know I brought up 3 names in that, but just with the build-up speed, Derrick Henry's kind of the obvious one who has that same situation.
Hampton's just going here just because he's a running back. He's probably going to be a top 10 player for me.
Yeah, he's 15 on my board. So maybe I'm not as high on him, but I still think he's really fucking good. But yeah, that's the pick here.
Okay, 21, Pittsburgh. At this point, if Shador's here, he's probably going here. If Dart's here, he might go here. But I don't think either of them are first-round quarterbacks. So when I took a look at their depth chart, it was kind of what do you need right now? And the only thing I really saw is nickel, safety, nickel, and, second safety. I'm taking Malachi Starks here. out of UGA, 6'1", 197. Great in zone coverage, great in man coverage, good ball skills. He's a good blitzer. Plays in the box well. Does get pushed around on outside run plays quite a bit. Kind of gets owned, I would say. So that's a bit of a concern. Very inconsistent tackler. He's definitely he's got to brush up on that. And then again with the tackling, I just saw a few too many broken tackles. But he reads the play very well. I think this is just a pick here that if you're not taking Shedeur Sanders and the board falls the way it has, I think Malachi Starks is just a really good player, and he's going to start instantly for you. And you're looking at that secondary now. I know Slay's not what he used to be. But you got Slay, Porter, Minka, Starks, and then who is their second safety?
Deshaun Elliott.
And then Deshaun Elliott.
He's a good player.
You're looking at that, and you're looking at a damn good secondary. And then Starks, if you don't want to sign Elliott, he can move up to safety, and then you can just draft his replacement like in the third round or whatever. But yeah, Starks is a great player. I really like him a lot. Just really got to improve that tackling. But if you're not asking him to tackle, you put him in the nickel, and you just ask him, hey, go cover, you're not going to hear a complaint about him all year.
22, we got the Chargers on the clock. If our guy Tyler's watching, I'm not giving you a D tackle. Sorry, brother, but this pick's much better, I promise. I'm going to take James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. He's like, I understand like all the character stuff. If you can play, you can play. And this this guy can play. Like I've never met him. I've never talked to him. Like maybe he's a piece of shit, but
the NFL has no. If you're a piece of shit, you can make $230 million guaranteed. Yeah. It does not matter if you can play ball.
And he can't even play.
Yeah, if you can play ball, you're going to be in the NFL.
Yeah, so with him, it's about, I mean, like, the explosiveness is where you start. He's 6'5", 243. He's a very good athlete. His ghost move is sick. He's got a rip. He's got swipes. His first step is unreal. With him, dude, like, I learned my lesson from Chop last year. You guys know, like, if you watched it last year, I was not a Chop Robinson guy. Swing and a miss. It turns out, if you can get off the ball and run around the corner before the tackle gets their hands on you, that's a successful formula, and you don't actually need any other moves. Pierce has that, except he has extra moves, too. Like, I think he's got a swipe. I think he has great bend and can rip around the corner. I think he's got an inside rip counter off of that. I think he's a really good pass rusher, and the run defense wasn't great, but it was better than I expected for that size. I think he can backdoor blocks. I think he can get to where the tackle is trying to go just before them and kind of like work around it.
Yeah, what is he, 240 something?
243, yeah. But super explosive, like, sick pass rusher. I mean, you get this guy, especially as your third edge immediately with Tully and Khalil Mack for passing downs. Like, you probably don't have to put him in run defense immediately. And then when Khalil Mack is gone in a year or two, he's your full-time. I mean, he'll still play a ton because you can never have too many edge rushers. But I think this is an amazing fit. For me, Pierce is like 16th or 15th on my board. I considered him for the Cardinals, but they just don't really need an edge rusher after they signed Josh Sweat. But I think this is an awesome fit. I would hope he goes earlier. If I was on the board at 17, I would have taken him for Cincy, but obviously not my pick. But you get him here, and I think he's a really good player, and he shouldn't be here, but he is.
23, the Green Bay Packers are on the clock here. And, if Tet's on the board here, yeah, he's probably going here. I'm just not a big fan.
Think about Ibuka, too.
Think about Ibuka, although I don't think that's your biggest need. I don't even know if he's on the team anymore. Eric Stokes.
No, he's not. He's on the Raiders. They do have Nate Hobbs, though.
So, swing and miss there.
That's your slot.
Probably. But, I'm going to take Siobhan Ravel out of ECU. 6'2", 194.
East Carolina, welcome to the first round, baby.
Welcome to the first round. I got accepted there. Shocker. They fucking accept everybody. I was close to going there.
Joe, you made that.
Physical at the catch point. Elite speed. I really wish we got to see him run at the combine this year. Just torn ACL in week 4 or week 3. Just kind of tanked that. Runs hip to hip. Breaks on the ball extremely well and fast. Elite ball skills. Reads the QB's eyes perfectly. He's a really good tackler. I saw him get involved on a lot of inside runs. Great in man, great in zone. He's just an overall great boundary corner. I love him a lot. And if you're here, if you're Green Bay here with, contract disputes with Jair, maybe he won't be on the team by this pick. Who knows? Although I think he'll be there, but just a backup plan. Ravel, I think is a great pick here. I was thinking about him. Where'd I put Barron at?
19.
Yeah, I was thinking about putting him there. Nothing against Ravel over Barron. It's very close, but yeah, overall, just really love him. And you get an elite boundary corner at 23. You'll take that every time.
The Vikings 24. I'm going to take Will Campbell to play left guard.
Okay, not what I was talking about.
Okay. All right, we're on the same page then. They really did a great job addressing the interior with Will Fries and Ryan Kelly, both from the Colts. But I think if you can bring Will Campbell in at left guard, man, or it wouldn't, he won't be here in the real draft. This is more of my range for him. But maybe they're a Gray's Able team or just like Donovan Jackson in the real draft. But Will Campbell's here. I'm just a little bit lower because I think he profiles as a guard, and obviously you've never seen him play guard, and I like Kelvin Banks' anchor a lot more than I like Will Campbell's, so I think he profiles better as a guard. Because my biggest concern with Will Campbell is, other than the length, is his ability against inside counter moves, because I think he's awesome at cutting off the outside and washing guys outside. But they get outside, they convert that speed to power, and then they just kind of run through him and end up with the quarterback. And that's where my problems start. But D tackles aren't converting speed to power like that. You know what I mean? So I think it will help him on the inside more. And he can't play with that length, although he is 6'6", 324 from LSU. But yeah, I think he'd be best in an outside zone scheme, which the Vikings run. And he's very fast and athletic. He'll be able to get out there to the second level and blow guys up. I do like his run blocking. I think a lot of his gap reps are kind of tough because I don't think he doesn't have the length and like the power to really like dig guys out. But you put him in a wide zone scheme and let him move, I think it's a beautiful scheme fit for him. I think he does a good job having his hands inside, and I think his hand placement is good. He does a good job readjusting. Like, I think Will Campbell's fundamentals are very good. The length just makes him limited, and it makes you have to play guard. And when you don't have great power and you don't have great length, I just don't see you being able to survive at tackle. But his feet are good. I think he's a good player. There are just other guards that, like Tyler Booker is Mr. Power, and we're talking about Will Campbell. Like, I don't know if he has a great punch. Like, that's the one concern I have with him at guard, and the high stance. But I think he's a good player. For me, this is more of his range. He's still absolutely a first-round pick. I think he's like 19th on my board, so like I'm a little bit higher than this. The O-linemen kind of just fall because the edge class and D-tackle class is so good at the top. So he's here on the board, and I like this pick from Minnesota.
He'll sadly be a New England Patriot. That's what it looks like. Okay, at 25, Houston, I'm going to take Ariante Ursary out of Minnesota, 6'6", 330. He's a big fucking tackle. I mean, all right. I know people are asking for a wide receiver here. Okay, if you really trust Blake Fisher at left tackle,
well, that's no, he's right. So this is the thing, right? They signed Cam Robinson.
Yep.
And they signed Trent Brown, which he's probably not going to be on the field by week. The thing about Houston is they're hoping to get average tackle. I think you could put him at guard even.
No, absolutely.
Because Houston, they're trying to survive. The plan is survive at tackle for the year. Because what it seems like is you're hoping for like 6 healthy games of Trent Brown where you get average tackle play. And then you get a look at Blake Fisher for the rest of those games. And then you have Cam Robinson lock it down, who's the best thing about him is he's always available, but he's not actually that good. He's kind of just a okay starter. Continue there, but that's kind of the tackle situation.
So I think they just need a cement guy that's gonna be there and he's gonna play well. Really good run blocker. Got beat a couple of times by Carter, but that's Abdul Carter. But he held his own consistently. Good anchor. Really good in pass protection. I did see quite a bit of pancakes. Not in the Penn State game. Whatever other games up on YouTube, I honestly forget. He does lunge quite a bit. Maybe not quite a bit, but he lunged a noticeable amount. But he washes guys to the outside. Doesn't move well out in space, like super well, but it's there. And then pad level just gets a little bit high sometimes, but I really liked him. I loved Ursery. The second I really watched him, I watched him a couple days ago, and I'm crossing my fingers that he's here at like 38.
Yeah, if we end up going edge, that's who I want.
I'm crossing my fingers that he's there. Just kind of depends on how the board falls, but here, Houston, you need O-line desperately more than you need receiver. And I just think, even if he plays guard year one, he can easily move out to tackle. And I wouldn't be shocked if he is the starting tackle, if he just flat out beats out Blake Fisher and then Trent Brown decides either not wanting to play football or he gets injured.
Yeah.
But
when I brought him up as a guard, it wasn't like a he's not better than these guys thing. It's like a they play tackle and their guards suck ass. So it might turn into a get your best 5 on the field situation where you just stick him at left guard and tell him to go beat the shit out of people. And I think he can totally do that. Pick 26, Rams on the clock. I'm going to take Nick Emanwari from this. I don't even know if I don't know if I can say safety defense from South Carolina. You want, like, when we talk about Shamar Stewart's athleticism, this motherfucker, 40-inch vert, 4.38 40, 227. What the fuck? I mean, unbelievable athletes. He's 6'3". I really like his tackling. I think he's a big physical hitter. He does play safety in this Rams defense. I'm envisioning him as a nickel, strong safety, and their linebackers are bad. So I think putting him at, you could also put like 10 pounds on him and just make him a linebacker. I think that is a possibility, like kind of Divine Diablo it. Used as a hole defender a lot. He can play anywhere. He had a pick 6 against Kentucky that was awesome. He can also play the overhang spot in your defense. Like, there's a lot of shit that you can do with this guy. You can put him in too high. He had what the fuck does that mean? Sorry, I fucked up my notes. I want him to drop his pads and get lower with some of his tackles. It'll happen when you're 6'3", but I would like if he could do that. He has the range and athleticism to play 2 high and quarters. He has a speed to play 1 high. I wouldn't do it just based off instincts. It's not really something he's ever really done. What I love, though, is just like you put this, like he can cover tight ends and he can cover running backs very well. I just want this guy around the ball. I want him in the box. I want him at nickel. Like, I want him just around the football making splash plays. I see him I see him like Kyle Hamilton, where he's not as good, he's nowhere near as sound as like a prospect, but there's a lot of shit that you can do with him. He can play anywhere. I think this Rams defensive coaching staff has been very good with putting guys in good positions. And I think I think he's somebody that really does need a good fit, because he could end up being one of these Isaiah Simmons type players where the team picks him and they don't have a fucking plan for him and it just doesn't work out. But I think if you get this guy in the right spot, I think he could be an absolute monster. You don't have athleticism like this and not get picked in the first round. And the tape is good, too. It's not like this is some guy. I've heard some people talk about him where it's just like not necessarily having a position is valuable. That makes you versatile, especially on defense. It's not like a bad thing to not necessarily have a home. I think he could play 3 different things well, and I think he's a really, really good player, and his tape was probably some of the most fun that I had watching, just because you see this big ass safety. Yeah, he looks like DK. Playing exactly. Yeah, he's a lot of fun, and I think he'd be awesome in this defense. Yeah, I was thinking about taking him at 17, so you know how I feel about him. Yeah. 27 to the Ravens. I'm taking Donovan Ezaraku out of BC, 6'2", 248. I was debating whether or not to give you guys a receiver here. Obviously, but it was between Ibuka or Tet, and I figured just get one of them. You can get Jaden Higgins, hopefully maybe trade up for him. You can get one of these guys in the second round, but gross swim move, explosive off the line, great rip. He has a good one-arm stab. He's just a great pass rusher. Yeah, he's not a good run defender, but you have Travis Jones, Matabike, to kind of
fill that role on that line. And, you just put him in on third down. He's going to be elite. Great edge speed. I like him as a tackler. He has a bag of pass rush moves. I do really like him in this system. Just to kind of, even if he has to sit behind Van Noy for a couple weeks and just learn, I really do trust this Ravens team to develop him well enough to where he can be a first and second down type of guy. And yeah, will he start off his career as a third down just pass rusher? Yeah, sure. But this team doesn't really have a lot of holes. They went to the AFC Championship the other year, and then what happened to them this year? Why am I blanking? Lost to the Bills.
Divisional.
So this team, I feel like you're really there's not a lot of holes here, and I think you just upgrade at a premium position. Go get after that Josh Allen. Go get after Mahomes. Go get after Burrow on third down, most important down. Donovan Azariku, right?
Azaraku.
That
was close. Yeah.
Azaraku,
that was a good one.
Definitely helps you situationally with that, and I do really like him. He was really, really good at BC.
28, we got the Lions on the clock. This is a great pick for them. He shouldn't be here, but he is.
Yeah, these
receiver class fell big time in this. I'm taking Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. 6'1", 205. Joe is just telling me his comp is Amon-Ra, which I can definitely see that. Played a lot of football in a loaded Ohio State room. I mean, this guy's their all-time leading receiver, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was there for Marv. He's there for Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah. He might have played with Jameson Williams before Jameson transferred.
He played with JSN.
Honestly. Yeah, yes. This guy can block his ass off. He can play slot and outside. I think you can just mix and match. Like, you got Jameson outside, and then you can just mix and match Amon-Ra and Egbuka. Just one of them's in the slot, one of them's outside.
A lot of open receivers for Jared Goff to throw.
Yes, for sure. Along with Sam Laporta, I mean, this is a scare, and Gibbs and Monty, this is a scary offense already, and you add Egbuka to it. He's been super dependable. This guy's a great route runner. Touchdown machine as well. I watched 3 games, and he had like 4 or 5 touchdowns. Best in this short and intermediate game. He's great over the middle. He's very solid after the catch. I saw him run pretty much every route that you look for. Does play 70% in the slot, but I think he can play outside, especially when you get like creative OCs who give you the motion where like you're not really getting pressed like that off the line. I think that is something that Ohio State did for Egbuka to help get him free releases. And the Lions do that a lot. I mean, I know Ben Johnson's gone, but I mean, it's going to be someone under him as their new OC. So they'll be doing a lot of the same stuff. I think he has great tempo in his routes as well. Egbuka is my clear-cut wide receiver, too. The fact that he's on the board. Really wanted to go edge and get somebody opposite.
Kind of ridiculous that he's on the board right now.
It's a great edge class, though. You can get somebody round 2. I can't get Emeka Egbuka in the second round.
No.
He was going to be gone in about 3 picks probably, so let's take him here.
29, I have the Washington Commanders on the board here, and I want to get an extra weapon for Jaden Daniels. I'm going to give him Matthew Golden out of Texas.
Okay.
6 foot 195. It's really it was debatable and I don't even know what my final big board will look like with receiver. But Tet, man, I would really love to see him be more consistent against like high-end talent, and it felt like Tet kind of lost just more steam over the season.
I don't like the way he runs his routes so slow.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. While Matthew Golden only got better. He was electric in all the playoff games, really. I think he averaged 100 yards in all the playoff games, but sharp route runner, super quick feet, great release, tracks the ball really well, works back to the ball, very quick. He's a great route runner. I think he can be a immediate wide receiver 1 for a team? No. Do I think he can be one of the best 2s in the NFL? Absolutely. And I think him being behind Terry McLaurin is just free yards for him to eat. I think it's going to be more like a Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill type of thing where it's just he's a high-end 2. Great route runner, makes big-time plays, high points the ball, really good body control, plants his feet. He runs every route hard, which is probably what was the deciding factor between this pick and Tet. I really think Tet is a lazy route runner. He doesn't run routes hard whatsoever. Great hands, great catch radius, and he finds a soft spot in zone coverage. I love Matthew Golden. There were some doubts in, I would say, early March-ish, where I was like, oh, he's losing steam. And then I went back, I think it was the Arizona game I was watching for Cam Scadaboo, and I was like, I'm just going to watch Matthew Golden, let's see. And I was like, yep, I'm still really high on him. I still really like him. Do I like him 12 to the Cowboys? I like the fit. I don't know if I like him at 12. But yeah, I love Matthew Golden, and I think he makes this already really electric offense with Jaden Daniels even more electric. I mean, they were making De'Ami Brown and what was their other guy? De'Ami Brown and
Zacchaeus, right?
And Zacchaeus. They were making, that offense look electric, and I think just Matthew Golden just takes it to, another tier. So, yeah, I think he helps out Jaden Daniels a lot.
All right, we got the Bills on the clock. I'm going to take Trey Amos, the corner from Ole Miss here. Thought big time about Kenneth Grant. But Kenneth Grant's a really good nose tackle. I really like him. But you look at this Bills depth chart, they signed Trey White. I don't care that they signed Trey White. He's washed. Dane Jackson is a good number 3 corner, but he's their 2 right now. I just can't do that. When you're going up against some of these quarterbacks in the AFC, I don't know how you can roll out there and feel confident about Dane Jackson and Trey White. So you really need a corner. Trey Amos is that guy. This is a guy that had 20 pass breakups this year.
Mm-hmm.
Sick ball skills. For some reason, they kept throwing at him. It really doesn't work very much. 6'1", 190. I think he has really, really fluid hips. That was the thing I was most impressed with. He did a full 360 to get into position for a pass breakup. That was a very nice play. He's got consistent press tech where he's hip to hip and totally in phase. He got lost in the sauce on a scramble drill pretty bad against Mason Taylor, and was also beat on a drag by him. That was really the only 2 times he lost. In these notes, it literally says 3rd PBU on a fade, 2 PBUs versus Arkansas, the PBU machine. I think he has great ball skills. I think he breaks on it really well. Very solid player. I think his tackling was fine. It wasn't impressive. It wasn't not impressive.
Yeah,
there's a lot of corners where
I haven't watched
just get
him
the
yet,
job done.
But if you think he's a boundary one,
who's the Bills' number 1 corner?
Fuck.
Oh, they have Benford, so he'd be there too. But I think he can be a legitimate, kind of like what you said about Golden.
Okay.
I think he could be a low-end number 1 corner. I think he'd be a really good
see, then at that point, it's all right, you can take...
Also, when you have Teron Johnson at nickel, he's going to tackle him before they even get to the outside. So I like this fit for Trey Amos. I think it could happen in the real draft for sure, but good player, and you kind of need to make up for the Kyer Elam pick. So you
wonder who could
definitely
have told you that was a shit pick. That was rookie me, and I was like, he's ass. And the Bills were like, 1st round pick. All right, 31 of the Chiefs. I want to first off apologize to everybody here for what's about to be a pick. I'm taking Tet McMillan here. I am not high on him really whatsoever. I really tried to be. I watched him 3 times. I just didn't see it. I watched him. He was the first player I watched back in late January. I watched him again in March, and then I watched him last night to be sure. He's not that
That's
good.
That's what I did with Will Campbell, and I liked Will Campbell more the second one.
A big thing for, or not a big thing, kind of just a mentality thing for me is run blocking. He's a shit run blocker. He's a good route runner when he wants to be, but more often than not, he really isn't. It looks like he's jogging his routes almost, and people are like, well, he gets up to speed during his route. I don't fucking care. Run your route as hard as you can at the start to go get open. He's like a worse Keon Coleman, honestly. And I did not like him last year.
I liked Keon.
Against Utah, it looked like he was jogging out there. He has great hands. He's good at breaking tackles. He's 6'4". He probably should be. Great catch radius. You'd fucking hope so. Great contested catch ability. Like I said, build speed up through his routes.
He's not open that much.
No, and that's why it's on my notes. He's not really open that much, and if you can get a quarterback that can get him the ball, fucking Mahomes.
Which you have, yeah.
But people are gonna be like, you gave Tet McMillan to the Chiefs. Will he probably work out here? Yeah, he probably would work out here, but I don't see the alpha one that everyone's talking about, and really his hype has died down because there was a time in March where they were like, yeah, 4 to the Patriots. I rarely see him going. I mean,
I see him at 12 to Dallas a lot.
I value Daniel Jeremiah's opinion very highly, and not even just because oh yeah, if he says this player's good, then he's good, but I like seeing where they go.
It's just he knows what's happening,
and he has in his 2.0, which was back in mid March, maybe early March, he had him going 22 to the Chargers. So gives me an insight on what I don't think he's that big alpha. He is that big alpha one, I should say, but I don't think he has that potential to reach there. People say he's Drake London. He's more like N'Keal Harry for me. He just doesn't get open, and I just don't like him. If I'm wrong, I'll eat it, but I'm just not a big fan of him.
Still a first-round player, though.
Still a first-round player, because the upside is there. If he fucking decides to care and run his routes hard, and, maybe he's one of these guys that you can just throw the ball up to him 30 yards down the field and he catches it every time. Yeah, he'll get 1,000 yards that way. But, yeah, just compared to what other people have him as, I know, Stock Exchange has him at player 4. I think
that's
crazy. You're high off of whatever. But, yeah. I still think he's a first-round player. Last year, he wouldn't have been. I'll just make that very clear.
Yeah, he would have been wide receiver 4 or 5, maybe 6. I don't know.
Yeah, he probably. I honestly probably would have had Ladd over him. But yeah, I don't like him that much. But the upside's there. And if I'm here at 31, yeah, I'm willing to take a risk on him.
Pick 32, we got the Eagles on the clock, and I really do like this player. In a loaded edge class, just fell down the board. In my mock draft that I with not us, I actually took him 19 to Tampa. You just kind of had a lot of the odd picks where I would have taken. The player I'm taking is Mykel Williams, by the way, from Georgia. Shocker, he's going to Philly. But yeah, just a lot, just a lot of good players fall, and there was a lot of spots that Joe had the pick for that I was thinking about taking Mykel, but I'm not on the board, so obviously I can't do that.
Yeah, pussy.
He's 6'5", 265. He's got insane length. I'm it's reported. I don't know what he actually officially measured in at, but it's reported 35, 36 inch arms, which as an edge rusher is stupid.
He's a freak.
Yeah. Worked very well off stunts in games. I think he's got a solid swim. Best moves his bull rush. The thing that I don't like about the Georgia defense is it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
They play, they played Mike Hellett 3-tech on third down constantly, and he does nothing as a pass rusher at 3-tech because this guy's 265 going against guards.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
It's not going to work.
So I think he's miscast. You know what I mean? I think people talk about him as this super big, kind of like Shamar, where he's some 280-pound DN. He's not.
I think, remember Will McDonald that I...
Yeah, well, Will McDonald was 235. That was a war crime, what they did to him in the B-gap. But,
Go play it.
he's used as... I think he can play 4-eye pretty well, because he weighs enough to do that. But I just, I don't want to see him at 3-tech. But with Mykel, he's similar to Shamar Stewart with the length and the power. I think he's an excellent run defender. He has an outside swipe. You saw it against Kelvin Banks. It's there. It's in there. It's not super consistent, but when he decides to go to it, it works. And this is what I was saying. On true pass sets, Mykel Williams looks like a good pass rusher. You just don't get very many true pass sets, so he's a hard eval because it's hard to tell. He's got a great motor. He's got length. He's got strength. If he goes to Philly, this guy's going to be a stud. Just with the rest of his boys in that locker room, it's going to work out if he goes there. I think he's going to go earlier than this. Maybe he'll stay in state and go to Atlanta. I like him to Tampa a lot. There are a lot of places he could go earlier. I think he's kind of a guy that needs a good destination. But I really do think that there's a good pass rusher in there. We don't get to see it because of the way Georgia structures their defense, where these guys play constant 4-eye and they slide inside when they don't weigh enough to do that. If you put 15 pounds on Mykel, you could do that, but with the profile that he has, he's a 4-3 end. He's not necessarily one of these guys that you're going to put at 3-4 end. I think you could do it if you add 15, if you add 10 pounds, which you could do. Like when I put him to Tampa, that's what I was imagining, like him replacing Logan Hall as their 3-4 end.
God, what a second round pick that was.
Yeah, no, he had a solid. He had 5.5 sacks last season, so he's like a real player.
Yeah, but he was like 30.
Yeah, no, I know, but he's in a contract year. So when I made that pick, I was like, all right, like we'll play Michael probably off the edge for like we'll rotate him in and we'll add some weight and he'll work out there. But I mean, if this guy's on the board, this isn't a predictive mock, but me and Howie are on the same page here with where if Michael Williams is on the board, he might trip and fall running up to the podium to hand it in. But yeah, if he goes here, probably going to have a great career with the rest of the Georgia defense. So that's all we got for the mock draft
for 2025. I know, one video, one mock. That's all for this year's draft season. See ya next year.
Watching.
See you next year.